I believe at the end of the day, you deserve what you work for, and self-esteem is no different. You don't want to be gifted it because a gift is not yours to keep.
You can earn your way to success, achievement, self-belief, and self-esteem, or you can get it by default. The book we're reading in book club is talking a lot about that.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2165, the difference between real self-esteem and gifted self-esteem. Also, I know what I said in the very beginning was dumb because you do get to keep gifts. My back was against the wall there and I couldn't think of a better word. So, Alan came to me today and we recorded one episode earlier today. We're doing another one. And he said, dude, I got an idea. We just went through the chapter in Willpower in book club where they talked all about the difference between real self-esteem and self-esteem that was essentially injected by somebody else and the data to go with it and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, we only have 15 minutes. So we might end up doing another part 1 and part 2. I don't know. We're going to see. But I do think that at the end of the day, so many of us aspire to get really high self-esteem and high self-belief. We've talked a lot about self-belief over the last week or two. So we're going to dive into self-esteem today. Go ahead, sir.
All right. So self-esteem is more internal. Self-belief is more, in this context, external. So the last 2 episodes, we did part 1 and part 2 were on self-belief. I want to make this as clear as possible. Self-confidence and self-belief are about external achievement, getting results outside of self. Self-esteem and self-worth are built in terms of self-value, the internal way you feel about yourself. So in this chapter, chapter 9 of Willpower, Raising Strong Children, Self-Esteem versus Self-Control, they talk a lot about this idea of everybody gets a trophy, and there's something known as the self-esteem movement in the Western culture. They've done a bunch of studies. Please do not freaking quote me on any of this. This is what I am literally, I prepped for book club, and I'm just going to come off the cuff of what my brain remembers. They did studies where essentially Japanese culture, Japanese Americans, people who live in America from Japan, they have more success, statistically speaking, in the external world than the children of U.S. born and raised here, not in Japanese culture. Okay. AKA people with, and they tried to do a bunch of different things where they correlated IQ and all kinds of stuff. Let me explain. They found that Japanese children with lower IQs were actually more successful than Americans, statistically speaking, with higher IQs, meaning American children with higher IQs were told they were special. And what these studies reveal is that self-esteem does not actually lead to better outcomes in life later. I want to use a metaphor here. Think of the person in high school who had very high self-esteem. They thought they were the man or the woman. Where is that person now? Me, I was a loser in high school and I had to work my way to being not a complete loser. And I do believe in hindsight that actually helped me build character. It helped me build humility. It helped me build work ethic. It helped me build myself up. Whereas someone who was naturally talented probably just thought they were awesome by default. They didn't build the habits necessary to sustain it long term. That's kind of the metaphor here. So this whole everyone gets a trophy movement is very detrimental to building self-efficacy, self-esteem, self-worth in the long run. So there's 2 types of self-esteem. There's inflated fake self-esteem that's based on ego. And there's something known as an ego death, which is when you try to do a really hard thing and realize you suck horribly.
Been there.
The problem is people who have inflated fake self-esteem are always guarding themselves from getting that feedback. So they basically put them, it's big fish, small pond is the metaphor. And what they found, and what this book was talking about, is that self-esteem is the wrong metric. They found out that the children who had great grades also had high self-esteem, and then the self-esteem movement, quote unquote, was born. And they found out later, having reviewed the research, that grades came first. It wasn't self-esteem that made the grades happen. It's the work ethic that bought the grades that then got the earned self-esteem. So this is my prep for book club talking points, 3 of them. Trigger warning for the 3rd one, okay? So if you have kids in the room or whatever, just understand I'm about to say something it's a verbatim quote from the actual book, but it's intense. Talking point number 1, self-esteem that's given versus built is more effective, also known as self-control, willpower, the point of the book. Number 2, which came first, grades or self-esteem? We already talked about it. The grades built self-esteem. Self-esteem did not create the grades. As a matter of fact, what I've found is people with low self-esteem tend to be way more competent. I don't feel like I have that good of self-esteem.
I feel like they work really hard.
They work hard to earn it.
Yeah.
You've never identified as having high self-esteem.
I've never identified as having any. Seriously, I'm very serious, yeah.
I know people who think they're better than you, and you'd run circles around them.
Come at me, bro. Real quick. Self-esteem is essentially how much you like and value yourself, encompassing your beliefs about your worth, abilities, and overall self-perception.
Now, I do want people to know there is something called deflated self-esteem. I'm not saying self-esteem is bad. I'm saying it is not. Inflated self-esteem that's fake is not good.
We aim for accurate. We aim for
accurate self-esteem.
Accurate self-esteem, accurate self-belief. It's not about high or low. It's about accurate, because having high self-belief is not necessarily going to force you to take action. Having high self-esteem, you're going to avoid things that make you look in the mirror. So it's not high or low. It's accurate we're aiming for.
Okay, so number 3, and this is the trigger warning for everybody. This is a quote from the actual book. Watch out. Rapists and serial killers have remarkably high self-esteem. Now, it's not real. Every one of us, let's can that quote for a second. Obviously, keep it in, production team, keep it in. Every one of us knows someone who has inflated self-esteem that thinks the world of themselves, but has no external results whatsoever. I have an uncle, I'll keep this anonymous, who I can't stand. Shut your fucking mouth, dude. You don't know anything. Everyone has this. Okay. I have an uncle who thinks he knows everything and knows very little, and he has 0 results. And I'm talking 0. In any regard, health, wealth, and love, the dude has 0 results. And every now and then, everyone's been at a party or a barbecue or a family gathering where it's like, you just want to turn and say, can you just shut your fucking mouth? Why are you acting like you know everything when you've never picked up a book? You don't even study. You're just spewing nonsense. And you think you're right about everything, and you have no merit. It's not landed. It's not in reality. I am over here questioning myself when I've earned all these achievements and all these accolades and all this. I've read all these books, and I'm over there. And Emilia is a great example of this. Emilia is the most well-read human being I've ever met. By far. It's not even close. And when I ask her questions, she goes, I don't know. What do you think? And then I've got my uncle who's like, you don't know fucking anything, dude. We all know what that feels like. Inflated, fake-ass self-esteem is not good for you or others. These are the people that need what's called an ego death. My car accident was an ego death, aka I faced mortality, I realized I wasn't what I thought I was, and I realized that I hadn't put it all on the court. An ego death is something that meditation can do. It's something that trauma can do. It's something that, here's a good metaphor for an ego death. If someone thinks that they are a really, really strong fighter and they want to get in a bar fight, and then someone else trains as a fighter in UFC, and imagine a big guy and a little guy, or a big girl and a little girl. One of them's a professional trained fighter and the other one just isn't trying to get in a bar fight acting tough. That's known as an ego death. The person who thinks they're tough, who's never trained, is going to get wiped the walls with, and then they're going to have to look in the mirror the next day and reevaluate their existence. That's an ego death. Kevin had suicidal ideation in his mid-20s. I had a car accident. We both had ego deaths. And now we actually have the humility necessary to be an eager student, and to basically all of our self-esteem got destroyed. And we had to start building ourselves up and building our identity up from ground zero. And I really got triggered in this book club because I personally grew up in an environment where there was a lot of inflated self-esteem that was completely unmerited, unwarranted, and wildly delusional. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes.
I think that's how a lot of people get through life, because looking in the mirror when you get to a certain stage is so fucking hard. If you're 25 years into just living through delusionally high, fake self-belief and self-worth, and somebody, and you're giving somebody fitness advice and they say, look, with as much love as I can possibly give you, you're extremely out of shape and you don't know anything about fitness. ooh, and then you have to say, you know what? Yeah, you're right. That is a fucking, ooh, God, that is a tough place to be. I'm not saying that's what you got to do. That's the thing. That's the opportunity for growth. We went to a wedding last weekend and we took pictures. Tara and I took pictures, and she's wearing heels. Tara is taller than me when she's in heels. There's two ways to do this. There's get the gifted self-esteem of, well, Kev, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, nobody is going to notice. Of fucking course they are. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
I saw the photo. You guys look great.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I did notice.
Of course you did.
Everyone's going to notice.
So I think there's a place for that, right? If I'm like losing my mind and I'm so insecure, give me some positive feedback. Okay? But it's like going to school and my mom saying, nobody's going to notice that giant zit on your forehead. They are, Mom. Hey, they are.
And also, real quick, do you actually think there's any value in me saying no? I don't know if I agree. I don't know if
to someone I do
is useful.
I think delusion.
What I would say is post a photo where it doesn't show the height difference. If you have really, 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 really low self-esteem and you're deeply insecure about being in a photo with someone with heels, I would say don't post the photo or don't take the photo. Versus say, hey, no, you look great, you look tall. I think delusion is not good.
I agree. One, have you ever taken a photo with a woman taller than you?
Probably, but I remember when I was short, definitely.
Well, yeah, what, 20 years ago?
Probably
settle it down,
exactly
Kimosabi. Yeah, probably exactly 20 years ago. Okay.
I don't like my calves, but I'm not going to...
I know. I have a point, though.
And
I have
again,
a point.
At the end of the day, I don't really care. But
I have a point. There you go. You don't really care that much. In the grand scheme of things. You don't really care that much.
Delusion is a short-term win.
I got you. Yes.
For long-term loss.
Short-term, what if you can turn that short... And again, I'm not saying... I'm very much of... If you don't win the championship or you're not in the first 3 places, you don't get a trophy. Come on, what are we doing here? No, I'm not for that.
Okay.
What I am for, though, is...
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Yeah. We're pro baby steps.
We're pro baby steps. My point for this is, what do you think is harder to face? My wife saying, hey, let me take my heels off so I'm not taller than you. Crouching down while taking the picture. Or, like, out of those 3, which one is best?
It depends where you're at in your self-esteem and self-worth.
Then that's exactly, we're on the same page with that. We're on the same page.
I will be very vulnerable here. I know we got to jump. Yeah. I had a night where someone, we will. I had a night where I got drunk and I had brownout. Brownout means you kind of black out, but not fully. I remember most of the night, but not all of it. And there was a picture that I didn't remember of me. I've shown it. Very embarrassed.
Yes,
Next Level Live. Yeah. So what you don't see in that photo is that I peed myself, apparently. And or spilt something. No, I peed myself. I think. I'm 99% sure I peed myself. That got posted without my consent. And I remember messaging the person who posted it. Her name was Shanice. We've reconnected since. And I said, please take that down. That's not... Like, take that down. I'm so embarrassed, you know? I'm ashamed of that. And people are going to think I peed myself. I think I did, but still.
People are going to know I peed myself.
But here's the thing, and this is, again, what we can talk about on the next episode. That helped me quit drinking. That helped me turn it around. Like, embarrassment can be used to become better.
I agree.
And it's not always, but I think it can be. And so I think if people are like, no, you just spilled a drink, that's not going to help me. The truth will set you free. I believe in truth so deeply, so it's very hard for me to promote distortion or delusion.
I think we just have to make sure that whatever we're giving, whatever feedback we're giving is constructive in nature.
Agreed. 100%.
Not just from a context place, from an amount place. And I think that's...
Yeah. Too much truth can be devastating.
Yeah.
But too little is as well.
As well. Just in a different way. Long term, yes. Short term, no. Kind of. That's the weird thing. Imagine we have a 5-year-old on here, we get to the end, and we're like, all right, now they're off camera. Chris, I got to keep it real with you, brother. That was the ripest piece of shit I've ever seen in my entire life. We're not even going to be able to use that fucking episode.
But
and honestly,
not true.
Honestly,
but that's not true.
We'll never get that time again.
What would be the centered truth, though?
But that's what I'm saying. Centered truth.
Okay.
Yeah. Centered truth. If somebody came up to me and said, Kev, nobody's going to notice your wife is taller than you. You are factually incorrect. I believe the stat is
First thing I noticed.
of course. That's why I put
Great
Short
photo.
King in there. I appreciate that.
strong.
I have a very beautiful wife. I'm very grateful. 50%, I think the stat was 50% of women on dating sites have the height set to 6 feet or taller. I believe I think it's less than 5% of the population are 6'2" or taller. So like they're really setting themselves up for a lot of potential failures because there's just not the numbers don't work. If you do the math, I don't think the numbers actually
There's a lot
work.
of single people out there.
It's a lot of single. I mean, you can go through. You want a man that's 6'2", makes $250,000 a year, and goes to the gym 5 days a week.
That's a 1% of 1%.
There's like 4 of them.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to fist
This is
fight.
a good episode. We
You
should
have
do
to fist fight. We're gonna do a part two. All right, wrap it in a bow. You got to go.
I think earning self-esteem by keeping the promises you make to yourself and setting goals and meaningful progress toward those goals, I believe that's the way to build self-confidence and self-esteem. And I think self-confidence and self-esteem builds to self-belief and self-worth. And I think that if you want to build a house, you got to start with, the foundation and then work your way up. I don't think you should just be gifted a mansion. I think that's fucking stupid.
I concur. I do believe that you deserve what you work for. And sometimes, I mean, all the time, it's going to be, that's in the long run, the way more worth it one, but in the short run, it is terrible. It's hard. But like Alan said, if I just said all the time, oh, no, Alan, you're great. No, you should be on all these podcasts. No, you should get paid all the money you want. Eventually, you're going to wake up one day and be like, am I even fucking good at any of this? Am I worth any of what I've accomplished?
I've never heard you say any of that, ever.
You don't need to hear that from me.
No, and you shouldn't.
Plus,
I'm not saying you should. It's just funny. It's
I don't know what I'm talking about.
For you to say that.
I don't know what I'm talking about either. So it's
Can you imagine the delusion that would be? Yeah, you deserve whatever you want with very little effort.
You're in trouble.
Yeah,
you're in trouble.
It's not real.
That level of delusion creates so much problems later in life when you're the one making decisions for yourself. Because you don't know what an accurate expectation to set is. It's a whole fucking thing. All right, we're going to do a part 2. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And if you are as committed as you say you are to getting to the next level, make sure you tune in tomorrow because we're going to be here every freaking day to help you get there.
Keep reaching to your full potential, Next Level Nation, and join book club. The link will be in the show notes.